Welcome back to another episode of Domi'Rogue Uncut, where I give it to you straight from the streets, no caps. Now let's jump into this. Welcome back, everybody. This episode is about President Trump subliminally shading Beyonce and Jay-Z. So as you may or may not know, Nicki Minaj has been rocking with Beyonce and Jay-Z for a long time, up until the recent past years. Many aren't sure what caused the riffraff between the mogul artists, but throughout 2025, Nicki Minaj has been reported throwing diss shots at both Beyonce and Jay-Z. Take a listen to some of these reports.
After this happened, Nicki Minaj took to her page and started going crazy, subtweeting this and that, all kinds of stuff. She posted an article and basically said this: what was the name of that law again? Karma's law. Touch not my anointed law. Vengeance is the Lord's law. We give God the glory, and he's only just begun. Have a blessed day if you can. LOL, the blogs posting lies. Thank you. More money for me. We're working. Trust. Then she posted another picture that 50 Cent posted his page because Jay-Z's in a whole nother lawsuit right now where a guy named Raymir is saying that Jay-Z's his father, and Jay-Z is refusing to take the paternity test. So he's suing Jay-Z right now to force him to take the paternity test, and that just happened earlier today too. So Nicki Minaj posted this to her Instagram and said, "Oh, is this why he was trending the other day? I don't know. I hope all is well. To God be the glory." Then she posted another picture and said, "Oh no, what's going on? The Shade Room help." And she reposted the article where they were saying the Rock Nation CEO used her daughter and was holding her against her will. But all of this does not come new to everything that happened. If you guys know, last week, Nicki Minaj blamed Jay-Z for shadow banning her Instagram account when she was trying to promote her song with Lil Wayne.
What is the prize? The amount of people on Instagram is remarkably low. I wonder who's behind that. I wonder who's afraid. Okay, guys, that's all I wanted to see. What a surprise. What a surprise.
So yeah, she basically saying that Jay-Z has hacked her Instagram, and now she don't even get no followers no more when she goes live. He's trying to silence her. Not only that, she took to Twitter and she kept going. She's basically saying that Jay-Z owes her $200 million so far. She wrote in the text, "We calculated about 100 to 200 M so far. Jay-Z called me to settle this karmatic debt. It's only collecting more interest. You still in my top 5 though. Let's get it. And anyone still calling him ho will answer to God for blasphemy." Oh my God, she's the blind picture. Then she tweeted again, "I'm going to use some of this money Jay-Z owes me to send some of my barbs to pay their school fees and students' loans via my Student of the Game charity." Now, a lot of people are like, yo, why is Nicki Minaj going so crazy by a former New York rap legend? Well, if you don't remember, Nicki Minaj went ballistic when Lil Wayne wasn't selected to perform at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And she basically said it was Jay-Z's fault for hating on Cash Money, Young Money. And he's always been envious of Cash Money for years.
So Nicki Minaj has been having this ongoing feud with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and it only has continued throughout 2025. During Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour, there was a mishap where the car she was riding up in the air nearly fell out the sky, and Nicki Minaj took to her social media to then make a subliminal diss at Beyonce mishap by saying only starships are meant to fly. Now, how does this tie in to President Trump sneak dissing Beyonce? Well, if you may recall, during the presidential campaign between Trump and Kamala Harris brought Beyonce to one of her convention rallies where Beyonce shared a speech to rally behind Harris. Although Beyonce rallied behind Harris, Harris did not win the presidential election. Trump became the official president of the United States. And shortly after assuming the Oval Office, President Trump announced his prosecution for Beyonce. He made bold claims that Beyonce had pocketed campaign money of $11 million. So shortly after Trump called for the prosecution of Beyonce due to campaign funding misuse, Beyonce is seen sitting at the same table of Ivanka Trump, President Trump's daughter, at the Reform Alliance casino night in Gala back in September of this year. The event was said to be hosted by Beyonce's husband Jay-Z and Michael Rubin, and the seating arrangements were questioned or called into question due to the nature of Beyonce's stance during the presidential election. Many fans could not understand why Beyonce would be sitting at the same table as the president's daughter, Ivanka, when Beyonce rallied behind Harris and Harris did not win the election. Many speculated that this was a power move to get Beyonce's name out of hot water when Trump called for her prosecution. So many speculated that this was a power play move by Beyonce and Jay-Z to just cozy up with the Trumps to avoid or evade prosecution of misuse of campaign funding. One would think if Beyonce really stood with Harris in the Democratic Party in which she represented and rallied for, that she would never be found cozying up with the opposing party who actually ended up winning the election. So many began to question really where does Beyonce loyalty lies. So many began to think that Beyonce and Jay-Z made this power play move to better their relationship with the now standing president, President Trump. But in more recent events involving Nicki Minaj, many believe that this little power play move by Beyonce and Jay-Z meant nothing to President Trump, and he has no interest in aligning with them, let alone sparing them or investing in them. And here's why. Nicki Minaj was just recently viewed giving a speech at the United Nations panel. And in this panel, she thanked many, but among which President Trump. Now, many were questioning why, of all people, of all prominent people, was Nicki Minaj selected to speak at such a broadcasted event for this administration. I mean, Beyonce was just seen cozying up with Ivanka at an event hosted by Beyonce's husband. So one would think of all the people that President Trump or his administration would select to speak at a broadcasted UN event that maybe Beyonce would have been a pick or any other prominent figure. However, of all the individuals that could have been selected, Nicki Minaj was selected to give a speech at the United Nations panel. And many are feeling like, yeah, that's pretty shady considering the ongoing feud between Nicki and the Carters. So that little power play move by the Carters meant absolutely nothing to President Trump. So much so that he pulled Nicki Minaj out the bag to speak at the UN. Take a listen to Nicki Minaj thanking President Trump in her speech at the UN and share your thoughts after.
Thank you, Ambassador Waltz, for this invitation. It is an honor to stand on this stage with you and the other distinguished speakers here today to shine a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. I stand here as a proud New Yorker with a deep sense of gratitude that we live in a country where we can freely and safely worship God regardless of one's creed, background, or politics. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion, like I recently stated on social media. And we don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other.